Monkey Mondays, where we only cover the facts.
Renewed search for a 5-year-old boy named Michael Monkey Vaughn.
Searching for answers.
It's been 9 months since 5-year-old Michael Vaughn
are working to bring
search for Michael
5-year-old
Vaughn, the 5-year-old boy out of Fruitland,
2
continues
days
this week.
since 5-year-old Michael Vaughn was last seen outside his neighborhood in Fruitland.
Remains very active and an ongoing investigation. You can't take one of our most precious citizens from us and ever expect us to stop. During the course of this investigation to date, we received credible information that the remains of Michael Vaughn could be found in the backyard at 1102 Red Wing Street in Fruitland. As a result, the Fruitland Police Department obtained a search warrant for the residence along with the front and backyards. That search warrant was served on November 11th. It was a Friday. We served that late in the evening. Upon entry, officers encountered Sarah Wandra, one of the known occupants of the home, and Sarah was subsequently arrested based on probable cause that she had knowledge of Michael's death and failed to report that death to law enforcement. The following day, the Fruitland Police Department, joined by the Idaho State Police, the Idaho Mountain Search and Rescue, the Fruitland Fire Department, and the Fruitland Public Works Department, began a very methodical excavation of the backyard of the Wanderers' home. During that excavation process, the Idaho Mountain Search and Rescue, Mountain States detection dogs deployed multiple certified human remains detection dogs on the property, all of them alerting to the presence of human remains. Ground penetrating radar was also used and deployed, detecting anomalies in the backyard. We completed the excavation of the entire backyard and removed over 250 yards of dirt. Prior to backfilling the yard, the dirt was meticulously sifted for any potential human remains. We did not find Michael's remains. The remains of Michael Vaughn were not recovered. We strongly believe, based on evidence, that Michael was abducted and is deceased, and that his remains were buried and later moved from the property. This is Sarah Wandra, 35 years old. Sarah lives at 1102 Red Wing Street in Fruitland and was living there at the time of Michael's disappearance. We believe that Sarah has firsthand knowledge and is involved in Michael's abduction. This is Sarah's husband, Stacey Wandra, 30 years old, a male. Stacey was also living at 1102 Red Wing Street in Fruitland and was living there at the time of Michael's disappearance. We believe that Stacey has firsthand knowledge and is involved in the abduction of Michael Vaughn. This is Brandon Shirtliff, 30 years old of Kuna, Idaho. Brandon was living with Sarah and Stacey Wandra at 1102 Red Wing Street at the time of Michael's disappearance, and we believe Brandon has firsthand knowledge of Michael's abduction. Brandon is currently believed to be in North Dakota. Adrian Lucien, 32-year-old male out of Toledo, Ohio. Adrian was staying with Sarah and Stacey Wandra at 1102 Red Wing Street at the time of Michael's disappearance, and we believe that Adrian has firsthand knowledge of Michael's abduction. Adrian is currently believed to be in Toledo, but floats between Ohio and California. I strongly encourage Shirtliff and Lucien to contact the Fruitland Police Department detectives as the window of time for talking and cooperation is coming to a close. Long, thorough investigation. The family is not a focus of our investigation at this point. They are continuing to fully cooperate with us. Today, as members of this community, we continue to agonize with the family.
We want to thank all of you, the officers, all of the agencies. You guys have just keep working so hard, and we're gonna get him home. We're not gonna stop. We're gonna find him.
Michael Vaughn, affectionately known as Monkey for his lively and adventurous spirit, was born on June 24, 2016 in Fruitland, Idaho, a quaint town nestled on the Idaho-Oregon border with a population of around 5,000 residents. Described as a playful and energetic youngster, Michael's days are filled with climbing on anything he can find, exploring the outdoors, and indulging in his favorite activities. He adores pizza, the color blue, and anything related to monster trucks and superheroes. Living with his parents, Brandy and Tyler, alongside his siblings and grandfather, Michael, thrives in his loving and bustling family environment. July 27, 2021, commenced like any other summer day for Michael and his family. Brandy Neal, his mother, had eagerly anticipated a break from work to spend quality time with her son, promising him a few days of fun together. When she called home that afternoon around 4 p.m., Michael was engrossed in his video games, everything seemingly normal. Little did she know that within hours, her world would be turned upside down by a devastating phone call. Michael, her beloved monkey, was missing. Thus began a relentless 2-year search spanning across the nation, leaving everyone with one haunting question: where is Michael? Michael's interests and hobbies paint a vivid picture of his vibrant personality. From his fascination with digging, mining for gold, and building intricate creations to his love for astronomy, outdoor adventures, and cherished family moments. He enjoys an array of activities, from exploring parks and camping to indulging in his favorite foods and enjoying outings with loved ones. On the day he went missing, Michael was last spotted between 6:40 p.m. and 7 p.m. near his home on Southwest 9th Street, clad in his signature blue Minecraft t-shirt and shorts. Despite exhaustive search efforts by authorities in the community, Michael's whereabouts remain unknown, leaving his loved ones and the nation gripped with concern and hope for his safe return. Disclaimer alert. The story of events are all according to Stacey Wandra. Stacey Wandra's timeline. According to Stacey, the day started with him, his wife Sarah Wandra, Brandon shirtless, and Adrienne Lucienne waking up around 9:30 a.m. They had breakfast together before Adrienne, Brandon, and Sarah left around 11:30 a.m. to take Adrienne to see his child in Nampa, Idaho. Stacey then received a taxi call around 11 a.m. to drive to the Boise, Idaho airport, leaving his residence sometime between 1 p.m. and 1:30 p.m. to complete the trip. During this journey, Stacey claims to have made a stop at Crestview Park to retrieve his dipping tobacco, adding irrelevant details about the process. He then visited a friend named David Fears before returning home between 3 p.m. and 4:30 p.m., where he found Brandon and Sarah present. However, there is evidence placing Sarah and Brandon in Nampa, Idaho at 4:47 p.m., raising doubts about Stacey's timeline.
You think Stacey stayed home all that day? Stayed home?
We left him there at the house. I don't know if he stayed there the whole time or not, to be honest.
Was anyone else there with him?
I don't think so. I think it was just him home alone at that point. And that was before we went to tow.
Okay, for instance, when you guys got back, was he in the house?
Yeah, he was in there. He was in there on the couch, I'm pretty sure.
What was he doing?
Just watching TV.
Like he never even went anywhere?
Right.
Later in the afternoon, Stacey, Brandon and Sarah decided to pick up Brandon's car from his mother's home in Kuna, Idaho, leaving at various times according to different versions of the story. They arrived at Brandon's mother's house, where Brandon avoided the doorbell camera, and Sarah's involvement inside the house is disputed by Stacey. Stacey mentions a duffel bag with laundry, but insists it's too small for a human, raising suspicions about its significance. Stacey's timelines and details constantly shift, with inconsistencies regarding their departure from Red Wing Street and their activities in Kuna. Furthermore, Stacey's account of Sarah's first time towing a car and their roadside bathroom break adds unnecessary distractions from the central issue of Michael's disappearance. Upon their return home between 10:30 p.m. and 11 p.m., they encountered a neighborhood search for Michael Vaughn, where Stacey claims they inquired about the situation from either a neighbor or a police officer, again providing conflicting information. Stacey's avoidance of key questions about Michael's disappearance and his defensiveness when pressed on inconsistencies suggests a deliberate attempt to distract and deflect attention away from the case. Instead of focusing on the important details of Michael's disappearance, Stacey seems to emphasize irrelevant information, raising suspicions about his involvement and intentions. Wandra's version of the day Michael Vaughn went missing, July 27th, 2021.
Which is unusual because I'm pretty good at recollecting times. So I'm 99.99999% sure that I knew exactly what time we left the house that night for Brandon's car. I knew what time I left during the day. Like, I'm a very time punctual person.
Wake up.
Which was get up, have a coffee, get dressed, get showered for the day. Like I said, I think we may have watched a movie or one, or it was a movie or TV show. I don't know.
Taxi call.
Throughout the day, and then I got the taxi call probably, I think it was like around 11. And the person wanted to go from Ontario to Boise, so I went and picked him up. Probably I went to the house about 12:30 or 1 in the afternoon, and took the Lexus that we had to go pick the client up and transported him to Boise. And I hung out in Boise, I think, for a few hours and then came home. Neighborhood seemed subtle and quiet. There's not a lot going on. Nothing seemed unusual at our house.
Alone at the house at 11.
Correct.
So keep walking me through it.
So Sarah calls me about an hour or so later, says that there's a taxi ride that needs to go from Ontario to Boise. I was like, okay, I can do that. So I got ready and, shoes and socks and everything like that. And got in a Lexus that we had, and about 1 o'clock it took off.
Okay. So that would have been roughly 1-ish, one in the afternoon.
Mm-hmm. I was the one that was in charge of taking the calls. She took a phone call and then asked me if I wanted to go do it. It was from Ontario to Boise Airport.
Do you remember about what time of day that you took that first cab ride?
I left about 1 o'clock.
So you left about 1?
I got a phone call about 11:30 from Sarah because she was the dispatcher for our company and said that there was a taxi ride that needed to go from Ontario to Boise. I was like, okay, it's a $150 run. I'm not going to pass it up,
And what time was this?
I left, that was 11 o'clock she called me roughly. And then I left the house about 1.
I mean, I only took one ride that day. Sarah was gone. The morning time she took Adrian to Napa or Boise or wherever they went. But I know I only did one run and I left about 1 o'clock.
Splash pad.
About 1 o'clock in the afternoon. On the way out of the subdivision, I ended up having to stop at the pull-off spot at the splash pad because I had dropped my can of chew, and I wasn't able to reach it. Even trying to reach across the console, I was a pretty decently big guy, and it's not exactly easy for me to reach something. My belly kind of gets in the way, and so ended up having to get out of the car and walked around, opened the door, grabbed my can of chew, walked back around the driver's side, and left. That was probably about 1:15, 1:30ish. About 1 o'clock. I stopped at the splash pad about 1:15, 1:30ish.
Okay.
I don't know. It was in between 1:10, 1:15, 1:30ish. I don't know exactly. So long ago, but.
Now, there's a lot of talk about the splash pad. Have you ever been to that splash pad?
Yeah. So, on the way out of my taxi ride, I pulled into the splash pad in the Lexus. I had gotten a phone call from Sarah when I left the house. She had asked me. She always calls me whenever I leave. She was very very insecure about herself, so she always wanted to make sure I wasn't out trying to cheat on her or whatever. I stopped at the splash pad because I chewed tobacco. I still chew. And I stopped at the splash pad because my can of chew had fallen on the passenger side of the seat. And I couldn't pull off to the side of the road because there was no room to really park. It was right before the stop sign, and you aren't supposed to park by the stop sign or anywhere near it because you're not supposed to by law.
For the kids, so you stop there. It's like I have to be honest, that's a little concerning. That you'd be there at a place where kids go.
There was hardly anybody there that day, and it was the only place I could pull off beside. There was literally no parking. You can't just park in the middle of the road. And so I literally parked off. And keep in mind too, they have CCTV footage of me. I was actually shown that by Fruitland police detectives when I was questioned. So they have me on CCTV, and it's exactly as I'm telling you guys.
Can you tell everybody the exact time they have you on camera at the splash pad when you're getting your snuff?
1:15.
1:15?
No, sorry, 1:30. 1:30.
Okay, yeah, that's what I remember you telling me.
Visited Labor Dave.
I think I had gone and visited a buddy of mine in Boise. I don't remember exactly the specifics. I know that I was.
Can you
I was
tell us
gone for a few hours.
who the buddy was?
Yeah. So it was actually an old employer that I did work for, but he also became a friend. His name was the company was Labor Dave's, and then his name was David Fears.
Can you
I was
tell us?
gone for a few hours.
Can you
I was
tell us?
gone for a few hours.
Can you
I was
tell us?
gone for a few hours.
Go ahead.
So I went and picked up the client, went to the Boise airport, dropped him off. I think I hung out with Labor Dave, if I'm not mistaken. I went and visited him at his house.
Who's Labor Dave?
He's like a temporary employment person. Always had a bunch of odd jobs for people to do. Christian based. His real name is David Fears.
How long do you hang out with David?
I don't know, a few minutes, you know what I mean? It was a good chunk of probably 15, 20, 30 minutes tops.
Okay.
It wasn't very long. I mean, he had stuff he was doing too, you know, so.
Do you talk to him often?
I don't talk to him anymore. From what I heard, he's deceased, so I don't know if that's true or not.
That's yeah. Okay. It's hard to talk to someone like that, for sure.
Back to Ontario.
Currently, the timestamps, I didn't remember this, but I went to Ontario again to go. I stopped at A&W. A&W, which is by Kiwanis Park or whatever in Ontario. Went there, got some food, I think, and went back to Fruitland.
Okay, so you go from Fruitland to Ontario to Boise, back to
Ontario to home.
Ontario. Why'd you go back to Ontario?
To get some food. There's an A&W in Fruitland, but that was the direction I came back. It was
it's on the way.
It was on A&W on the way, but it was, you could see from the interstate, and it was completely packed, and I didn't feel like going inside from what I remember. Coming back home.
Okay. So the A&W was in Fruitland.
They have an A&W in Fruitland, and they have an A&W in Ontario.
Where was this A&W then?
In Ontario. That's what I said.
Gotcha.
Back home.
And I got back home, and it was just like a normal average home. I mean, Brandon was there, I was there, and Sarah was there.
What time?
I don't know. I'd say probably close to 3:30, 4. Maybe.
Back home, was anybody there?
No, it was just me.
Okay, just
you.
No,
I'm sorry. Yeah, no, Sarah and Brandon were home.
Okay, so they were already back from dropping Adrian off. And
When you guys got back, was he in the house?
Yeah, he was in there. He was in there on the couch. I'm pretty sure.
What was he doing?
Just watching TV.
Like he never even went anywhere.
Right.
Yeah, you know.
If Stacey left at 1 p.m., then the earliest with no stops would be 4:21 p.m. he arrived home. However, he said he stopped at the splash pad for 5 or 10 minutes. Then he stopped and picked up his client, dropped his client off at the airport, stopped at Labor Dave's from anywhere from 15 minutes to 3 hours. Next, he said he stopped for food in Ontario. However, it was in Fruitland. Then he arrived home. He traveled a minimum of 134 miles, according to Stacey. Steve Fortuna.
Brandon asked us to go to pick up his car at CUDA.
Okay.
And he'd been asking us prior quite a lot. So we just put it off, and we're just tired of asking us. So.
Okay. Now let me ask you this.
Now. 500 people before.
Okay, so in this, what time would you think this was during the day?
5:15.
5?
No, sorry. We left about 5:30, so we're doing like 5:40.
We then left the house about 5:30 or 6 p.m. to go help with the tow. So yes, I did have time to go help with the tow.
We were at the house. We didn't leave the house, I think, until probably about 6:30 at night. And that's what I told John yesterday. 6:30 or 7 was when we left.
When you left.
Correct.
Okay. All right. So you leave at 6:30, 7 o'clock.
Mhm.
Okay. All right. And you guys are making a trip from Fruitland
Correct.
to
Cuna.
So, okay, so you changed the steering fluid. It's roughly 6:15, 6:20-ish. You drive off with Sarah and Brandon to get the truck.
Get the car.
I'm sorry, the car. What time do you think it is roughly when you exit town?
Remember, I'd say probably maybe 6:45, 6:50. Remember, I'd say probably
Off, which is unusual because I'm pretty good at recollecting times. So.
Power steering fluid.
Sarah, me, Brandon were in the car at the truck. We had pulled off of by Arizona and 8th Street on the side of the road. I had been putting power steering fluid in the truck. I think 5:35, 5:40.
Why did you stop at 8th in Arizona again? I'm just curious about that.
To put power steering fluid in the truck.
What time did you put the fluid in the truck?
between 6 and 6:15.
Okay, I got you.
Before Arizona.
Okay. Now let me ask you this.
Probably
Now,
500 feet before.
okay, so in this, what time would you think this was during the day?
5:15.
No,
sorry. We left about 5:30, so doing like 5:40.
So, okay, so you changed the steering fluid. It's roughly 6:15, 6:20-ish.
The child.
In fact, the kid that I saw looked like he had dark hair, like very dark hair, like mine.
How far away from the street was he?
He was on the sidewalk.
Oh, he was on the sidewalk. Okay.
He wasn't even in the street.
But he was by a house. Was it like
the whole stretch of houses?
at Southwest 8th in Arizona? Okay. About how many houses down did you see him?
I could see him in the distance. You know what I mean? Like there was a. I mean, I could see the face, but I know there was probably 5, 6, 7 houses down. But we never stopped, other than to stop on 8th Street in Arizona to go fill up fluid, and that was it.
Okay, so you didn't talk to him or anything?
Not at all. No.
You didn't ask if he was lost or anything like that?
No.
Do you remember what he was wearing? What colors or anything?
Not at all. I know that it was not Michael. I can tell you that.
You saw a boy that day as well, didn't you? You said
yes,
you saw a boy.
further down 8th Street on the very right hand side in somebody's yard, and he didn't look anything like Michael at any point in time.
Okay.
We didn't ever even approach the kid.
Did the boy you saw have a yellow shirt on?
It was a bright shirt, correct. From what I remember, it was shorts and a bright shirt, and he was a lot taller than the 5-year-old boy. I can tell you that much.
And you notice a child with a. Tell me a little bit about the child you noticed. What did you see? What was going on?
Just know he had dark brown hair. He was taller, like he had to be 8, 9, 10 years old. Did not look anything. Not. I mean, mind you, it wasn't a clear picture. You know what I mean? I wasn't really trying to pay attention. You know?
Yeah, you was putting power.
Always pay attention to my surroundings all the time. You know.
There was a kid playing further down the road. Excuse me, sorry. But it wasn't Michael. I can tell that 100%. This kid was definitely older, probably 9, 10 years old, dark hair. He did look more like, excuse my language, more like a Mexican or like, Hispanic. He just wasn't Michael's description at all.
How old was this boy that you saw, would you guess?
I'd say probably 8, 9, 10 years old. Definitely older, like more physique, you know what I mean? Like when more filled in, more defined.
But nothing was unusual about it. Like, you just seemed like a normal kid just playing in the neighborhood.
Yeah, and you say he had a toy. Do you remember what kind of toy he may have had?
No.
Oh, you don't?
I didn't pay attention again. I just know he was playing with something, is all I know.
And you didn't see nobody else around the kid. Was he in a yard?
Yeah, he was in the neighbor's yard, yeah. Or one of the people's yards off of East Street, but
Okay.
I assumed it was just somebody.
So he wasn't playing in none of the fields over there.
No.
Oh, okay. That's what I was trying to get at. Was he in the field or was he near? Because a lot of that is
outside the neighbors, outside the house, like in the front yard.
One child looks like he has dark hair too. Sidewalk 3, 5, 6, 7 houses down 4. Does not know what he is wearing 5. On the right in someone's yard 6, it was a shorts bright shirt 7. Taller than a 5-year-old boy 8. Dark brown hair, it'd be 8, 9, 10 years old 9. In a neighbor's yard or one of people's yard.
So we pulled off right on the right-hand side of the road.
Okay.
Before Arizona.
Okay. Now let me ask you this.
Probably 500 feet before.
Okay, so in this, what time would you think this was during the day?
5:15.
5.
No, sorry. We left about 5:30, so doing like 5:40.
Leaves for Kuna, Idaho.
While you're coming back, that's when you noticed everyone searching for Michael.
Yes, sir. Yeah, I remember going to the gas station. We were probably at the gas station filling up like right at 7.
Right at 7. What gas station?
There's the Chevron right there just up from their house.
Yeah. There, y'all don't stop no more in the neighborhood, right? Correct?
You know what?
Y'all don't stop in the neighborhood no more after putting the power steering fluid.
No.
Okay, so now y'all leave down 8th Street and then you're heading towards Kuna, you said, correct?
Correct.
All right, so on the way to Kuna, did you stop anywhere to go to the bathroom, stop and get anything to drink? Nothing on the way, so you was already gassed up?
No, we already had gas on the truck. I always kept the truck full. 90% of the time, the truck was always full on gas.
Okay, and when y'all came up out of 8th Street, what direction did you go in when you came up out of 8th Street? Did you take a left? Did you take a right? Which way did you take?
When we left to go to Kuna or when we came back?
When you left.
We took a right off Whitley. Go US 95 to the interstate past the Chevron.
Okay, I got you. But y'all never stopped at that Chevron at any point?
No.
Oh, okay. All right.
You left.
Correct.
Okay. All right. So you leave at 6:30, 7 o'clock.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right. And you guys are making a trip from Fruitland.
Correct.
To
Kuna.
How do you spell Kuna?
Kuna.
Kuna.
45-minute drive usually. Yep.
Okay. All right. So, yeah, 48 minutes. 48. Did you guys take 84?
Yes.
Okay.
84 to exit. I want to say 46 or 48. It was 10-mile road. It might have been 42. I know it was 10-mile exit that we took.
Maybe 6:45, 6:50.
Okay. And then you drive to you said it's like 40 plus minutes.
Correct.
So you get to the location of Brandon's car around 7:30-ish.
Yeah, 7:40, 7:30-ish, yeah.
You guys left. This is like around the time Monkey disappeared as far as the police timeline goes. Okay, you're nodding. You realize that. And you guys, it's you and Brandon and Sarah, and you're going out with a duffel bag with a bunch of laundry, driving far away to Brandon's mom's house where he's not supposed to be, to allegedly do his laundry when he isn't even supposed to be there, but maybe that's why he's sneaking over there.
Brandon got in the back seat behind me. Sarah was driving. I was in the passenger seat. Took off. Made it to Kuna. Brandon went in to go do his laundry. Took the duffel bag. Brandon got in the back seat behind me. Sarah was driving. I was in the passenger seat. Took off. Made it to Kuna. Brandon went in to go do his laundry.
Kuna, Idaho.
What do you do at the house once you arrive there? You hook up the car, and what else? What else is going on at the house?
That's it. Brandon had to go through the side gate entrance on the right side of his house because his mom has surveillance, like a Ring doorbell that has audio video set up that'll pick up detection of movement or whatever. So we parked just enough in front of his car so I could push his car out of the driveway. And get the tow strap out of the truck to go connect to his car. And while in the process of me doing that, he was in the house washing his clothes.
Okay, what long are y'all at this house?
30 minutes tops.
Well, you can't wash and dry your clothes for 30 minutes.
He didn't dry his clothes. He washed them and left them in the washer, and then they went back the next day.
Oh, okay. Okay, gotcha. So he throws him in the washer. Okay. And he's
and then Sarah, I think, used the restroom on the side of the road like she usually did when we had no access to a restroom, but then that was the only time we had stopped.
I mean, why didn't she use a bathroom at Brandon's mom's house?
She did.
Oh, okay.
Her bladder is ridiculous.
The garage that goes out to the backyard.
And did Sarah go in?
No, Sarah stayed in the truck.
Okay, because didn't you earlier say she went in to pee?
No.
Oh, okay.
Waiting on him to do the clothes. Just a guess.
I think he just threw him in the washer at that time. I don't think he even put him in the dryer, but I think it probably took him maybe 10 minutes, 15 minutes.
Okay.
About the time it took me to hook the car up and stuff, so.
So he washed them fairly quick.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And
Back to Fruitland.
And okay, from there y'all got the car hooked up. And then where do y'all go from there?
So we took a route going through Eagle Road, down to the Black Canyon Highway. I remember that took you into Payette, by Clay Peak landfill and stuff like that. But
so y'all drove past the landfill, stopped, get a drink, use the bathroom, or any of these things on the way back?
Yeah, so we had pulled off. So we made a turn, and Sarah towing the vehicle. She had never towed one before. She wanted to learn, so we did stop on the side of the road, but that was because the tow strap snapped.
Oh.
Because there was too much slack.
Uh-huh.
I just there was enough tow strap I could just tie it in a double knot. So that's what I did.
Now, how long do you think you was out there messing with that on the side of the road? Was it like a quick thing? You got out there
10 minutes probably at tops. And out of the vehicle, she really had to take a pee, and she had to use the bathroom on the side of the road. So that's what she did while I was doing that. But
did she get to your house? You're going back down the highway. You're getting back to where you live, correct?
Correct.
All right, so you go back in onto 8th Street. For people that are watching, 8th Street's the only way in, the only way out. And what time do you think you enter 8th Street coming back with the tow?
What time do you think we got back?
Yeah, with the tow from Brandon's house after he washed the clothes and you hooked up the vehicle.
No, it was probably 9:30 at night.
9:30. Unusual? Is there people in the neighborhood?
When we got back, there was a shit ton of people all over.
All over, just walking around, or what were the people doing? What did you observe?
Police officers, search and rescue, just neighbors, people from the communities. I told Sarah to stop and ask what happened, and because Brandon was steering the vehicle behind us.
So Sarah went in the house before they decided to go. Okay, well, let's go look for Michael.
They never went to the house. They never went in the house. They went straight walking to go look for him.
So they never went. So you sat there disconnected in the trailer. They left, went walking, looking for Monkey.
Correct.
How long do you think they were gone out looking for Michael?
About an hour and a half.
Okay. And you're driving this car back, or
he's driving, he's steering the car. Sarah was towing it. I was in the passenger seat. Sarah wanted to learn how to tow a car.
So she's doing this.
Correct.
Okay. Now, how did you go back?
We went back to 10 Mile, I believe, which turns into, if you pull up the maps real quick, you can see where I went. But if you type in Idaho 16 from Kuna, Idaho, from his house to Idaho 16, we literally, I believe, took 10 Mile, or it was Eagle Road, one of the two, but we took 10 Mile all the way onto Idaho 16. Idaho 16 then drops into Highway 52. Highway 52 drops into Payette, Idaho. And then you take a left off of, when you enter Payette, off of Idaho or Highway 52, and that takes you straight to Fruitland. From there, we went home from Payette. We had the car behind us. Brandon was steering it. Sarah and I were in the truck. Pulled into the subdivision. There was a bunch of people walking around. I told Sarah, I was like, hey, let's stop. Let's find out
What time is this? What time is this?
Sometime after that timestamp. So, like, if you do the math, like 20 minutes after that last timestamp right there.
So we're talking at 10:15, 10:20?
Correct.
Okay. How did you learn that he was missing? That seems pretty quick.
Well, no, we learned it because we got back into the neighborhood later on that night, like 10:30, 11 o'clock. Maybe 11:15. I don't know.
Some extra clips.
The FBI and ISP and
Oh yeah. They're in for a nice little treat. They don't got shit on me. I can tell everybody that they have nothing on me, and what little shit they think they have on me is not sufficient evidence. And even if they do, they say that they apparently have evidence of him being in the house. Well, I'm pretty sure that kid's never been in a house a day in his life, so I don't know where they even come up with that. But should they ever charge me, they're in for a very, 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 very angry person and a very long, huge lawsuit.
Okay.
They questioned me in November of 2022. Interrogated the fuck out of me.
How long did they interrogate you for?
I think they did it multiple days. It was like 3 days, but it was probably 2, 3, 4 hours at a time.
Wow.
I think the longest one was like 5 hours.
So was this over a period of one day or multiple days?
Multiple days.
Multiple days. Was this before or after the excavation? Or I would assume before, because that you're the one that tipped them off to get it all started, right?
I just came and did a bunch of questions on me. Just started asking the questions, what happened, where was I at, typical, the questions I've already answered on through the videos. And as far as the excavation process, I was the one that tipped them off. It was a fable. It was not true. And I told him specifically that he was buried in the backyard, which he was never buried. And I know this is going to look incredibly stupid to you guys, but this is what I told law enforcement because I was so incredibly in an excessive amount of stress and overpressured that I literally just, I didn't know what to do. They kept telling me that, oh yeah, you're guilty. You're the one. You did this. You know everything. No, I don't. And I told them that 100 times.
That's where he's at. He's in the backyard. Why don't you go?
Made it up 100%.
Wow. So, do you feel like that's a false?
I knew he wasn't there. I knew he wasn't. I knew he wasn't going to be there. But I said it because apparently they were big and bad and thought they knew everything.
Right.
So I wanted to give them a little taste of their own medicine, and they didn't find shit.
See, Michael Vaughn, missing since July 27th, 2021, missing from Fruitland, Idaho, born June 24th, 2016, age now 7, sex male, race white, hair color blonde, eye color blue, height 3 foot 7 inches, weight 50 pounds. Michael was last seen on July 27th, 2021. He was last known to be wearing a light blue t-shirt with the Minecraft logo on it, dark blue boxer briefs, and sandals. Anyone having information should contact 1-800-843-5678, Fruitland Police Department, Idaho, 1208-642 6006 or call 911.